What's going on, everybody? Kalipis Tech here, coming back at you with another video. This is camera tips and tricks for the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE. In this video, I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks for this phone to help you get used to using the camera. Now, before we go any further, I do want to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to learn more about this phone, be sure to check out my full review and other tips and tricks videos for it as well. But with that being said, let's get started. Now, the first thing I want to show you is a quick way to access your camera. This is really easy and it's actually enabled by default. So all you need to do is double press your power key right here like this, and it's going to open right up. Now, this is going to work no matter where you are on the phone. So if you're in Chrome, for example, and you want to capture a quick photo in the moment, again, all you need to do is double press the power key and it's going to open right up. And a really cool thing is you can even do this when the phone is locked. Now, if for whatever reason this feature isn't working on your phone, all you need to do is go to Settings, go to Advanced Features, go to Side Key, and make sure double press is enabled and it's set to quick launch camera. In addition to this, if you have a different app you use as your camera, I know there are plenty of third-party apps out there, or maybe you just want to use Snapchat, you can set it to open app. And as you can see, I've already set it to Snapchat, but you can use literally any app on your phone. But now when it's set like this, if I double press the power key, it's going to open Snapchat instead. So that's a real quick and easy way to get access to your camera if you happen to be somewhere other than your home screen. Now, the next thing I want to show you is how to use your ultra-wide camera. If you're familiar with Android and smartphones in general, and you've been using phones like this for a long time, this is probably going to be nothing new to you. But if you are new to a phone like this and you've never had an ultra-wide camera before, it can be a little tricky. So in order to use your ultra-wide camera, all you need to do is hit this 0.5 icon right here. And now, as you can see, the angle is much wider, so you can get those nice shots. Now, in addition to this, keep in mind that you don't actually have to be at 0.5x in order to use the ultra-wide camera. You could do 0.7x, for example, or even 0.9x. All you need to do is just zoom out like this. And as you can see, it's not just 0.5x. You can go to 0.8, 0.7, whatever you want, in order to get the best picture possible. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to take a burst shot. This is a pretty interesting feature. Basically what it is a bunch of photos taken in rapid succession. You might want to do this just so you can get a bunch of pictures at once and then choose the best shot out of them. Or if there's motion going on in the picture, taking a burst shot is super easy. All you need to do is swipe your shutter button down like this and hold it down for as long as you want. But when you have a burst shot, then you can go to it, hit this little icon right here, and here you can choose whatever shots you want to keep. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to use the telephoto lens. Again, if you're familiar with this type of phone, you're probably already going to know this, but for everyone else, it is pretty simple. Basically just the opposite of the ultra-wide camera. All you need to do is hit the 3 right here, and the telephoto lens is going to be activated. As you can see, we're getting much closer up, but you don't even have to press that button. All you need to do is just pinch to zoom, and you can zoom up to 30x. As you can see, once you get really close up, this little crosshairs comes up to help you point your camera at whatever you're taking a photo of. And when you're this close up, don't expect it to be super good quality. As you can see, it gets really grainy the more you zoom in. So definitely keep that in mind. If you ever do get to 30x and you want to zoom back out quickly, all you need to do is hit the 1 right here, and it's going to go right back to normal. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to change the aspect ratio of your frame. You might have noticed throughout this video, I have it set to 9:16, just because last time I took a photo with this phone, I was taking it in landscape mode at 16:9, but you do have several options here. If we go up to this icon and press it, you can choose between 3:4, 1:1, or full, which in this case is going to be 20:9. Now, I definitely appreciate that this phone actually does have 1:1 because not every phone for whatever reason has it. And if you're taking a photo for, say, Instagram or something like that, and you want a perfect square, it's nice to be able to take that photo in the first place instead of having to crop it out later. But just so you know, 3:4 is the default, and when you first get this phone and open the camera for the first time, it's probably going to be in this ratio. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to use the grid lines. Grid lines can be really useful whenever you're trying to frame something, and they're really easy to turn on. So to do this, we're going to go to Settings. And if you go down from here, you're going to see grid lines right there. Toggle this on. And now if we go back to the frame, you're going to see the grid has been turned on. Now, of course, while being useful in some situations, the grid can get annoying. So if you ever want to turn it off, go back to Settings and simply toggle it right back off. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is how to reduce your video file size. If you're shooting lots of videos, especially longer and higher quality ones, the space they take up can add up pretty quickly, and if you don't have a micro SD card, this can give you some trouble when it comes to storage. But fortunately, this phone does have a way to deal with it. So what you're going to want to do is go up here to settings. From here, scroll down to the video section, go to advanced recording options, and toggle on reduce file size. So basically what this does is instead of making videos in MP4s, it's going to use what's called HEVC format, which is basically a more efficient video file. It's definitely a cool feature, and some phones like iPhones for example even do it by default. But keep in mind that although this may help you save a lot of space, these files aren't always compatible with everything, so depending on what you're doing with your videos, you might have to convert them later. The next thing I'm going to show you is a feature called the floating shutter button. This is really useful if you're taking a photo at an angle where it makes it inconvenient for you to reach the shutter. This is most likely going to be good for something like a selfie or anything else where you have to use one hand. So to get the floating shutter button, you don't even need to go to your settings. All you need to do is drag the shutter wherever you want it, like this, and place it, and the floating shutter, of course, is going to work just like the normal shutter. Now, if you want to get rid of it, again, you can go to settings if you want, but the easier way is to either drag it right back onto the shutter, or you can press and hold and hit this little minus right here. So real simple, and definitely comes in handy in certain situations. Now I'm going to show you how to use voice commands. Voice commands are really cool, basically exactly what it sounds like. You can take photos, record videos, that stuff, just by using your voice. So to activate this feature, we're going to go to settings. From here, find shooting methods. And of course, toggle on voice commands. And as you can see right here, there's several different voice commands. Smile, cheese, capture, or shoot is going to take a photo, and record video is of course going to record a video. So let's give it a try. Back in our frame now, smile, cheese, capture, shoot, and going into video mode, record video. And there we go. So overall, definitely a useful feature and a nice one to have in certain situations. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is how to take high efficiency photos. Now honestly, I don't think this is quite as useful as high efficiency videos because photos typically don't take up a ton of space anyway. But if you're taking a lot of photos and you really just want to save as much space as you can, then it's still a nice thing to know about. So we're going to go to settings. From here, go to picture formats, and high efficiency pictures right here, toggle this on. And this is going to change the file format to HEIF, which is basically just a more compact file that saves a little space. Now again, there are certain phones like iPhones for example that do this by default, so it's not uncommon by any means, but still high efficiency photos and videos might have some compatibility issues depending on what you're trying to do with them. So if you have a more specific use for your photos and videos, definitely double check before using this feature. But those were my camera tips and tricks for the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you found this information useful as well. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. But as always, I will see you in the next video.